Right. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Mail.
Mr. Chandan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Am I
hear you, sir.
audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, now it's okay. Yes. Shall we start, President, or shall we wait for 2-3 minutes more?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's 10:05. Maybe we can start, I think. If the problems have been solved, I don't know.
No, problem is solved.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think 5 minutes is enough, I think.
Okay.
And so maybe we can start.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. I welcome all of you in the second lecture.
Consider groundwater
day, and you can even see for the 7 days a week, where you can see from today to the next 7 days. If I'm going to run it, it is going to give for the next 7 days how the forecast is going to be. And we also have a long range forecast where you can go for the next 5 weeks. So that is also one possibility. And now I'll try to get into the nowcast. I'm going little fast because we have many modules to cover and it's a hands-on. And now this nowcast, we have different products of our own. We have the Ricken source, radar, CTT. So based on that, if I'm going to select, it is going to give every 10 minutes from now, what is the probability of the rainfall over there. So this kind of flexibility is also been shown here. So you can see here the change for every 10 minutes. So that kind of minuteness, every 10 minutes data is also available with us. That's because we are operating with the reservoirs and early warnings which we have to give, and based on that the decision makers have to take their decision. So this kind of data is also been provided with us. Now coming to, this is kind of analysis where we can also find, like for example, whatever I have shown you in GIS, here it is in the form of MIS. So the thing is, you can select any type of district. For example, I have selected Adilabad and I can go for Adilabad rural, and then I want to check the daily rainfall from for example, June 1st to November 28, 2025. So this is the data which we'll be finding here. And you can also swipe into a different type or different areas, which were, year where you want to look into. So we have also got this kind of variations where even you can get any type of information a person needs at a particular point of time. So this is all about the rainfall. And I would like to go with the reservoirs now. So now coming to the reservoirs, this is about the reservoirs in Telangana. We have almost 87 reservoirs, and so the capacity of all the reservoirs are also been shown here with the current storage. And if I want to understand about only the reservoirs which exist in the Godavari basin, that data is also available with us. Coming now and then, based on the requirement, we also went with putting a finger on it and getting the whole requirement, whatever data of the fill percentage, level storage, the inflow and the outflow, just in minute of a second, just putting the finger over here. And then the pop-up goes on to all the reservoirs. And if you want to understand for the Krishna Basin, there's also only the Krishna Basin data in the Telangana, which will be covered. Like for example, I want to go with the Godavari Basin reservoirs. I'm going to select the Godavari Basin in the reservoirs drill down tab, and then we are going to see all the data in the is also available with us, not only in the GIS view, but also in the MIS view. So whatever I was discussing right now, if a person wants to download a report, so basically what happens is when we go to the customers, to the end users, what they wanted was the written, the Excel sheets or the paper where they can see all of them at that particular time. So we used to give this kind of report, which was more helpful to the customers. And also now we can see the major reservoirs which are there in the basin wise, and also the minor reservoirs. So that is medium reservoir. So these are also being shown here. Now coming to the MI tanks. So, sorry, I also wanted to mention this right side view because it took a lot of time for us to even sketch it and understand that, the storage versus the time, the last 10 years versus this year's storage is also been compared here. If you want to understand, you can just put on that particular place and then understand the last year storages to the next last year 10-year storages. So this is being compared in this graph. Also, we have a facility where if I want to drill down into a particular reservoir, the same information which you want to check in the form of table here is being depicted. So if you want to see the reservoir trend, that is also being visible how the trend of the reservoir was. So this information of each individual reservoir is being shown in the reservoir module. So this is one of its kind where it actually we took a lot of data from all the important sources and we could put it here, and we could put it in one scale where we can get a GIS, MIS view, as well as you can analyze the changes with respect to the last 10 years. Now I'll go to the MI tanks. So MI tanks is it was a Herculean task because we wanted to understand how many number of tanks are there. So and for that we went to different remote sensing data. We went to Sentinel one dem, and the sources which we have used, few which we got to considered were being given here. And then if you want to get the data from June 1st to 12th November, this is the information it is going to give us. So this is the number of MI tanks from these year, this time to this time. What is the filled and unfilled water spread area can be shown in the pie chart. Now coming to this graph, you can see that what again, if you want to understand the number of MI tanks, what is the actual water spread area? For that water spread area, how much volume is there in that particular tank? So this kind of information for every tank is being shown. I would like to drill down into one of the tank. Like for example, if I click on particular district, and this is Mehboobabaad, and if I want to drill down much and understand what are the type of, yeah, for example, this tank information I want to know. So I'll go over here, I'll click on it, and I'll get the information which Chandan was explaining. I just want to show hands-on here. See the water spread area. You will get all the information over here. And you can see the changes. And you can see the date which I have already inputted in this place. And see the water spread area and how it is changing from that time to the present time, which I have kept for 12th November 2025. So this kind of, and yeah, you can see the legend. So this color denotes the empty, shallow, and then deep. So the more you're going towards the autumn season, I mean the rainy season, you are going to see that all the tanks will be changing to this deep color. So that means there is the change detection analysis can also be done by seeing the change in the water levels in the tank. So this kind of minuteness have been done in this work. And let's come to the MIS view. So if you see the MIS view, we have also kept this view because it was again needed for the end users, where if you want to understand the different tanks, and like I have just drilled down into Adilabad and then Adilabad rural. You can see the number of tanks in, what are the different tanks over there in Adilabad rural. what are their capacities, the storages, and water spread area. If I want to get more information, like what is the name of the tank, first of all, what is the lat longs of the tank, and where is it existing, and what is the ICID area, what is the water spread area, this all information with respect to the storages of the tanks are also been available here. Not only that, we also have an historical data where you can select your type of source with respect to the type of constituency. For example, if you want to take any particular district, you can go for that particular mandal and also the time steps. So this, once it has been given, we can see the information over here with the tanks and the area in MCFT. So this kind of information is also being given in that MI tanks. Now coming to the groundwater. Groundwater, we have done a little bit of work not only with the Telangana groundwater, but also with the existing well data where we have taken the water level sensor data as also the Telangana groundwater data. So whatever data we been getting in the form of, through them, we are trying to put it over here and try to analyze it with respect to, so this is the well data. So if we understand, let me go to Adilabad and then we can check the well, the type of, which district is it is allocated in, and the depth to water level, and the barometric pressure, and the temperature. This kind of work has also been done in the groundwater. So if, like for example, I also want to understand in the groundwater, for example, the previous year, that particular district, that Adilabad district, what is the amount of groundwater level which has been there in the previous year, in the previous month, in the current month. So we can even find that is it been increasing or is it been decreasing. So this kind of comparisons also can be done here. So that is one plus point with this. And as I have already told, the historical data is also been available. Like if you want to check from June onwards, we have the data of the groundwater over there. And yeah, we can also analyze them. So this also we wanted to work on, and we did a little work on the groundwater where we have represented different depth to groundwater ratio of the different districts over here. And if we want to understand how many of them are rising and how many them are falling. So this kind of representation is also been done where we wanted to understand that particular station, whether it is between 0 to R, means it is rising, or whether it is falling, 0 to 2 meters, whether the groundwater level is falling. To understand much deeper way, we also divided them here into districts, the number of wells which exist in that district, whether they are minimally in fall or they are in rise, and if they are in fall in how, 0 to 2 meters, 4 to 8 meters, this kind of information is also been shown in groundwater. Now coming to the river gauge. So the river gauge is another important module because this helped us a lot during, you can also see here, there is again an alert over here. Some Kellodu is giving a warning to us, that particular river gauge. So this kind of work was started where we wanted to understand the two basins and the administrative boundary which is inside this basin, and what are the different type of river gauges which exist in that, and the labels you can find here. So here you can see that there are steady. So some river gauges are steady, they have not changed. Some are in falling. So, there's not much water over there. Some are in warning. For example, I have just shown you, it is blinking over here. So it is showing us the warning, and some are in danger. So this kind of information is very, very useful. Now, if you want to just understand the type of the information in that river gauge, you can click on it and see the basin where it is existing and the flow of that river gauge with the condition of it and the time step, whether it is rising or it is falling. So this change in the parameters which we can just gauge from here Not only that, we also have this view where you can see that how many, what is the level of those all river gauges in normal, and also what are the flows which are there in gauges and the depths, whether they are all rising or they are all falling, because you can see most of them here are in rising. So this changes mostly, and you can also see the depth. Okay, this is also being considered here because I have selected that particular time period, 1st to 28th November. So there also we have this MIS view. You can go to the basin level, you can take a particular Godavari basin, you can also get the gauge points in the Godavari basin and the sources, the water levels, the depth, the discharges, whether this river gauge is in, is it in steady or whether it is falling, whether it is rising. The same thing is been depicted here. Now, again, we have the information like we have seen in Reservoir for the river gauges. And we have the locations, river gauges. If we are taking the Godavari, the location of that river gauge and the name of the gauge and the starting to ending year, I have taken little more. So that's the reason why you're able to see all the information here. Not only that, we also have this Excel sheet where, again, based on the demand, we have to put it because that's what is the part of the information which is needed. So this is also there, and we also give the gauge report. So gauge report can be like, for example, I have taken from 1st to 26th, and I have not selected the gauge. So that's the reason why that is showing us a warning. So that's again explaining us. So this is the gauge report. So it is going to give the particular gauge of Mancherial is these are the water levels and the flows and the depths. So this information is also been provided here. So this is again a real-time report which I was explaining about a few minutes back. So this is all about the river gauge. Now I'll come to pump houses. So if we are going to see this, we also have these pump houses which are being shown, like there are 29 projects for which we have 91 pump houses and 349 pumps. Again, if these are the lift irrigation schemes, we can say like if you want to go to the pump house of a particular place, and then if you're going to click on it, and then you're going to see the number of pumps which have been installed here. So there are two pumps like pump 1 and pump 2. Right now, a few pumps are running, few are not needed, so we have not on it. So this is the kind of minutility in the data which actually helps us in understanding the number of pump houses and their work over it. And this is a pump house dashboard where again we have the different the pump houses needs, and also we can understand the number of pumps which I have been showing over there. This is in the form of MIS. Now I am coming to the very important part, which is flood forecasting dashboard. So Chandan was telling about the flood forecasting dashboard, which we take into consideration for finding the amount of runoff in a particular basin. So here we have this Godavari basin. And we have certain models where the very important primary data of any model is rainfall with the help of the digital elevation data. And then we find the amount of runoff which is going to come. So that thing is being forecasted here, and we can see. So I would like to show one by one. So before that, I'll show the legends because we can correlate the legends with the colors which have been changing over here. So this is the flood forecasting dashboard, and we have the river gauges. So these are river gauges you can see which are in square shape. We have the reservoirs which are the triangles, right? Now we have 34 locations of these river gauges. Right now I have selected river gauges. So that is the square ones, and we have 0 flood warnings in the river gauges. Now if I'll go to the reservoirs, which is this triangle shape, you can see one of the reservoir is already showing a flood alert, this one. So if you want to understand what is the type of reservoir it is Shripadi Ellampalli Reservoir. Its capacity is 20.18 and it is traveling from the travel time to go from this to the next reservoir is also been given over here, the downstream distance and the lat longs of it. And with regard to that, we have the last 5 days storage data with the flows. That has also been given here. Now, I would like to show that this has also been provided where for the next 5 to almost 7 days, we'll be having the information. Before coming to that, we'll show we have selected here the forecast of IMD, which for the next 7 days. In case, now, so this is what it is showing. And now if I want to, so this is Sripad Yellampalli. If I'm going to click over here, so this whole basin is going to get highlighted and it is going to give on 1st November the deterministic data, which is 0.09, the rainfall that is 0.09, and it is also going to give us the forecast. So to understand how it is working, so it is based on not just 7 days data, it is also based on the next the till 8th December we are having this data. That means we have a long range forecast data also available with us. So this is the supremacy of the work where we are not just confining to the next 7 days, next 15 days, but we are also considering the long range forecast over here. So that is also been taken. And now coming to, one second. Yeah. So, first of all, there is also a provision which I would like to show. Suppose if I want to understand the distance from the one which is blinking to the lowest point, we can also get the distance it is going to travel and the time it is going to take. So roughly there are other parameters also which is going to affect the travel time, but we have a rough idea of the area which we have selected and how much time it may take to travel from that place to the destination point. So this kind of information is also given with the layers where you can take the different layers and you can also take the base layer and understand where actually it is falling. So this Google satellite layer and other OpenStreetMaps, and you can easily understand where actually this place is and what is the type of alert which I need to give to that particular department. So this has also been provided. Now coming to the MIS view. So, for example, I have taken the Godavari basin, which I was showing. We have the Krishna basin as well. The same thing which I have seen, which I have shown you in GIS view, the same river gauges which I have been showing you. These all things you can find over here. And today is 28th, the time and the level of those reservoirs or the river gauges, and also the trend, whether it is rising or it is falling or is it is steady, and the type of forecast in that particular reservoir. That is also been predicted here. So I would like to mention here that we are not going with just one model. We have inventory of models where we are going to take the decisions based on that, and then we are going to put it in our dashboard, and the end users, the who are going to use a model can take the decision accordingly. So that is one thing which I have just shown the river gauges. I would also like to show the reservoir. The same applies with them as well, which I have shown. But the only thing is it will be changing for reservoir. That's the only thing. Now coming to that was the Godavari basin. This is the Krishna basin, which we have worked also for. And again, these are the flow points and the flow rivers. So based on that, if, for example, if we can see here, so if it is the flow is between 8,900 to 18,000, we can see the color of it. So this color is going to represent 3,600 to 8,900, this color. So that is a kind of information we are providing through our flood forecast. Now, very important, nowcast. This is something which was very, very useful when it came to giving alerts, not only the forecast. We need to understand in the next moment of time of 10 minutes, which I have been showing you before. So this nowcast is also providing us with the bulletins. So we can see that there are no flood warnings as of now. There is a flooding which is possible. So it is also telling us to be prepared. So you can see here, this is a normal caution, warning, and danger. So flood warning is being given for one. So it is already been given for Reservoir, Lower Manier, and there are 17 severe flood warning which can be danger to life. So that also is being provided here. So this is a very useful information. The same thing if you want to understand and get the more information by getting into it basin level, you can click on that particular reservoir and get the capacity of it, and also you can predict for the rainfall and the flow over there. So now coming to the different products, we are using the different products in Nowcast. Based on the products, we will be changing the alerts. I'll quickly go to the ROP. So in the ROP, we have the Kaleshwaram, and then we have Godavari. So I would give a brief overview of it. This is the mimic view in which we can see, as Chandan was rightly mentioning, that based on the demands, we are going to change our how much amount of water to be released, so that it will be an optimized way of water release. So we are not only taking hydropower into generation, which is maximizing the hydropower, we are also maximizing the demands in terms of agriculture, irrigation, and industries. And we also want to minimize the flood damage. So we want to meet the regular demand. That is the main principle, and which may be subjected to the mass balance or release storage and spills, that is also being taken into consideration. So we can see whatever over here, it is a network representation to understand the inflows from the various sources. Okay, and it is going to the reservoirs. So that is the main part of it. And we are also seeing the releases from the reservoirs to the different components, and it also gives us the changes in the storages. We also take into consideration the losses with respect to time, and then we are going to give the pump operation. So the main objective was to minimize the flood damage and to minimize the spillages. So that so we needed a trade-off of it, and not only that, we also ensured that there is an environmental flow requirement that is also been taken over here, and the main part is to minimize the deficits. That is the motto of the optimization problem. So taking all this into consideration, this model has been designed where the demands you can see in the form of blocks, and the reservoirs which have been, you can see these are given as the circle parts, and the amount of flow which is going over here, and the demand for which we want to meet the demand, that much of water needs to be released. So this is a kind of an optimization problem where the storages needs to be ensured different period, and meeting the storages at end of every year what was the major target of this optimization model. So it is going to permit the different constraints to apply different storage zones and assign the penalties based on that. So this is one of its kind where I'm showing you the mimic view, and these are the pump houses, and this is the pump lift, right? So here we have this dashboard where you can select the year and the model which you want to run, and we are going to get the results, and finally we are going to get the demand which is been given by the end user, and how much power can be consumed can also be shown. So see here, for every 2 seconds, if we are running the model, this is the power consumed, which can be consumed is being calculated. So it all depends on the first date is 1st 6 2025, the end date is 9/12/2025. So it will be run for the 6 months. It can be the Kharif month or the Rabi month. So if it is a Kharif season, the demands will be given for the Kharif season. So that basing on those demands and the constraints which I have just told, we are going to optimize the model, and then we are going to tell the amount of water which needs to be lifted, so that the decision makers can take the decision based on that, and use the optimized water consumption can be done. So that is one of its kind, and the same thing we have applied for the Godavari basin as well. And then we can find here, this is the MIS view with the number of reservoirs which I have just shown. So we have the demand releases. So it is taking little time because a lot of data is been here. Just 1 second more. And then this is the demand releases distribution percentages. Yeah, it's now these are the different storage changes which will be happening in the reservoirs, the inflow, initial, outflow, and the end storages, as well as we have the different reservoirs, the demands of them, which I was just explaining, whatever available storages are present, and then finally the surplus received and final surplus which is over left. So this is the main reservoir operation. Now coming to the CAMS dashboard. So canal management services, this is the main part of the work where we are actually taking one pilot area of Ranganayak Sagar. So Ranganayak Sagar is divided into left main canal and the right main canal. So this is all the left main canal. These are all the right main canal. We have different canal networks, like we are going to work on the main canal, distributary, minor, sub-minor. These are the sub-minors and the link canals. So this is all about the whole area. Now coming to each part, first we want to know how much amount of water is available in that particular command area. So for that we have the rainfall data, which we already have for the present as well as for the future, that can be predicted. With me, I have already shown you in rainfall module. So we have this groundwater module where again we know the amount of groundwater available, and also with NRSE images we have the soil moisture data which is available with it. Once we understand the amount of water which is available, we are going to say that to let us know what is the type of crop they want to put in that particular command area. So we are going to also ask the water required based roughly which they are calculating. But we are going to tell them that yes, if this is the amount of water required you want, then this is the water available based on the groundwater, rainfall, and soil moisture. And if the amount of water available is less than the amount of water required for that particular crop, then that means that particular place is in deficit. So I would like to show one small example where we have also calculated and we have understood that some of the areas need more amount of water. For example, so once you understand that you are in deficit, it means that you have to then release it from some of the reservoirs. So that kind of information was actually needed, and this gave a help to the farmers to take decisions based on whether the water is available, or if it is not available, then we need to release some of the water from that particular place, and this gave a full to information of the particular area. So once this places, the farmer has to input the amount of the water they are going to release. And once they are going to give the amount of water which they are going to release, then we are going to say that again, if you're releasing this much of water, you are still in deficit, or this much of water will be required to you. So this kind of decisions are being taken by us. So once we inform them, they can also release the water based on different cycles. So this was very helpful for us, and it actually helped us in understanding their need and are we able to do accordingly with their requirement. So this is one of its kind. And then I would like to just give a small gist of what are the different models which we products which we have developed. So first is the crop intensity. If the intensity of crop is more, that means the farmer who has laid a particular sown in particular area, if he is able to use the same area twice, then that becomes 200. That means you can use for the Kharif, he is able to sow for the Kharif season as well as the Rabi season. Maybe that is a good year, so he can sow it for the next year also. So that is 200. So if he wants to understand the cropping pattern, so we are going to tell that, hey, listen, this is a from 2020 to 2024, you have this much of wet fallow land in 2023, and then we have wetland. Wetland means in Kharif also it was a wet, and in Rabi also we could put the wet crop. That means there was a good year. That is the reason why we can put the rainy crops in the Rabi season also. And this is wet dry. So that means if in the Kharif season we could definitely put, but in the dry season, this is the amount of area which we could sow. So this kind of calculation helps the farmer to understand that which type of crop has been sown in that particular area and what was dominating. So here we can see dry crop was dominating. That means in both the seasons he was able to put the dry crop. So that was the type of information which can be found from here. Now coming to the in-season crop. In-season crop is nothing but the same. Wet crop compared to the dry crop compared to the fallow. So we can see the dry crop amount is more as compared to the fallow land, or the wet crop is less. So the water available was, you don't need to put only the wet crop. The dry crop also can be sown in that particular area. So this information helped the farmers to understand, not so the farmers, the field officers, the people over there, to understand how the trend is changing. So this is about trend. This is about the transition. You can even select from 2022 to 2023, 2024 to 2025. What is the change in the Rabi pattern in that particular in-season crop? So this is a type of pattern. So in 2022, dry to wet, we have this much of area which has been used. The same has went down to wet to fallow. So the fallow and dry 2022 to 2023, it went from fallow to dry crop. Then there was no change in that. So this information actually helps us to understand what is the type of crop, in-season crop changes, transition has been taken place. So this is about the CAMs. So in the KPIs, what I have understood is we have actually used, our water use also is one of the KPIs, and this is been also calculated. Right now, again, once the farmer gives the amount of water available in that particular area, we are going to find the crop water requirement. I forgot to mention, we are using here crop soil water balance equation. So where we are understanding the amount of water which is already available in that particular area and the balance, whether it is deficit or is it in surplus. This information is also been told. Now I would like to show the mimic view, whatever I have shown in Ranganayak Sagar. The person can also go into that particular tank and see the type of tank and the storages in that tank. And quickly, I would run through the line view. So we have, this is a very interesting one because when I went to the field and we were giving the presentations, we understood that the farmers were giving us the information on the tank, and the status of the tank, and this used to blink accordingly. And then we used to understand that the whole tank is been filled. So that information actually helped us to understand in the minutest level whether the tank is filled, what is the filling status, and the storages. Now coming to the MIS view, it's the same thing which I have explained for the other projects. I would just show in brief, if you are taking the rabi crop and the pilot area and taking the right main canal, if you're putting the product of water deficit indent, then through ground data we can understand the amount for this particular uh, canal, whether it is like what is the crop area which you have put, and this also will be calculated accordingly. So such kind of information, this, I mean, it will take little time if I'm going to show each of them. So I'm just running through, and you can even find the one of the product like crop intensity, and this is one thing where you can show the design discharge in that particular crop. I mean, if you have taken that particular canal, what is the design discharge of the canal, what is the local aggregate, and how much amount of rainfall I mean, water available in the form of rainfall, groundwater, and soil moisture, and what is the crop intensity in acres. Now I'll come to the NDVI, NDW, and VCI, where it's we all know that these are the indices to understand the vegetative index and water index. So this kind of information was also helpful in understanding the area which is fully vegetated or partially vegetated, moderately or no vegetation was there in that particular area. So if we drill down to any particular district and want to understand in mandal level, what is the index values of the crop, you can just go to that mandal level and click over there, and just we will get an information which says that it is 50 to 60% of vegetation cover is available over there. Now the same goes with the other indices, NDWI, NDVI. So this was one of the requirement and we wanted to work on it. So this is about NDVI and NDWI and different indices which will be predicted here and shown based on the different districts and the mandals we want to understand. Now I'll quickly go through in NDVI, NDW also we have the MIS views, and we also have, I forgot to mention that we also have the analysis of them. So one second. So here only we have the analysis. We can see the number of districts which are a normal, watch and alert condition. And if you want to understand every fortnight data, also we have the fortnight data. Even we have that for the mandal level. I was just showing about the mandal level. We have it in the form of a graph here. You can also find in the form of table if you want to get a quick overview, whether it is a watch or whether it is the alert. Now coming to the next dashboard, project dashboard, we have all the project details, major projects, minor projects are available here. You can take the type of project you want to understand and want to have overview of the rainfall, groundwater, crop coverage or MI tanks, and all the information will be provided here in project dashboard, as well as the advisory if also you want to take. So now I'll go to the power consumptions. I've already, to understand this, I would like to show the KLIP. So here, which digital twin, which Chandan was discussing about, we have the reservoirs and we have the reservoirs. You can see here, they are blinking, they are near to FRL. So for example, SRSP, it is 80.50 and then it is almost, I mean, it is totally full. That's the same with SYP. And so they are blinking because they're totally full. And these are the reservoirs are being connected by the river. So it's kind of a digital twin. It is a digital twin where you can see from SRSP to LMD, there is a canal, Kakatiya canal, which has been connected. And from SRSP to SRR, There is again a connection. We can see these are the pump houses like Maipal, this Rajeshwaropet, and these are the pump houses which have been designed. And there are also that some tunnels, and this whole thing is been represented in different links. So we have link 1 and 2, which is this whole part. And if you want to understand how this is operating, just you can take that link. And then if you want to understand the link 3, 4, 5, 6, how this link is operating, and then if it is link 7, then how the reservoir is being operated here, from where this water is coming, and how they have been channelized into each and every part of the pump houses have been, I mean, they have been used to pump the water from different areas. This is also been shown in the system. So you can also see that we have given all the colors of the pump houses are this, because right now it is not in use now. Now, if you are going to see in during monsoons and all, few of them will be blinking to red. So these are the number of reservoirs which you are seeing here, SYP, SRSP. They are almost 18 in number, and they have a storage of around 44.84. We have 13 transit reservoirs, and their storages are around 195.26, and we have almost 13 operational pumps. So this is the information where it's a digital twin of all the reservoirs being represented at one place. And once we want to understand, like for example, during monsoon, we have been, when we discuss, we understand that okay, this whole thing is full, so we can actually leave this reservoir water to so that it can cater the need to the other reservoirs. If this is having a less amount of water, then how much water is to be lifted through it? There is again a flood flow canal which can even do reversible pumping. So we have this kind of whole system where it works as with amalgamation of the reservoirs and the pump houses and the canals and the tunnels and the rivers. And finally, you can see this Godavari River, where the end point it is going to the Bay of Bengal. So we have this link system where we have this Lakshmi barrage, Saraswati, Parvati, Shripadi, Lampalli, and the Tumudaheti barrage is flowing. I mean, this is the through gravity, but it is again being lifted from this place to this place, from this SP to Parvati barrage. So this kind of lift system is also been installed, and it gives an idea of the amount of water lifted. Not only that, if we also want to understand the reservoirs, the capacities, the total capacity, that is also been provided here with their current capacities with respect to the total capacities. And these are the transit reservoirs which are been working, and also the storages of each of the transit reservoirs which are under this project. So this is one of its kind, and now I'm going to connect it with this power consumption. I did not wanted to tell power consumption without touching that KLIP, because that is the main part of the work. And then these are the different lift irrigation substations which have been installed, and their capacities accordingly, and the different pumps which their operations and all the consumptions have been showcased here. Now, coming to the content management, I was explaining you about the camps. So in the camps, I was telling that we have we have the farmers who are in the field, and the field engineers. We tell them the amount of water which is going to be released in that particular season. And once they click over there, we can go over to the content management, and we see this crop information entry form. So here, once they tell us the type of the crop they are going to sow and the sowing date. For example, if it is cotton, it is jawar or maize, they are going to input the area, the sowing date, and then they are going to submit it. So once we put it, we are going to tell them the water available, water requirement, other informations which I was speaking about. So these are the master datas they are going to give us, whether it is a wet crop they are sowing or dry crop. So these informations, this is the content management where they do the data entry. Not only that, we also have this rainfall data entry, content management. Whatever you have seen, if you want, if you cannot do it through mobile app, you can also access through this content management. Now I'll go through this canal sensor. So we have different canal sensors and at different places, which I have been showing KLIP, where we have different pump houses being installed, and the places where the water cannot go through gravity, we have the lift irrigation systems. Whenever a lift has been provided, we actually need a pump. So for all the pumps, we have the pump houses and the canals, which been then with the names and the date and time, and what the different sensors which we have been installed at that particular canals. They give us the information of the type of the flow and the flow information. Now coming to the user analytics. So it also tells us about the number of users who have visited, the mobile number, mobile users, the registered users. So this is all about the user analytics. So thank you, everyone. I want to hand it over to Chandan.
Thank you, Madhuri ma'am. Thank you. So hope you
So
like
hope you-
the demo. So basically, the idea was to show you the use case, real-time implemented system existing running, so that you can have a view of the system and apply what you're doing. It is just the surface of the iceberg. We have huge system behind this. We have another implementation in Odisha, Go Water, which include more technologies in it, including somebody in the question box also dropped a message like
pressurized pipe irrigation. Yes, we know that pressurized pipe irrigation is more efficient. We showed you what the current, we work for the government with the existing system. We give them advisories based on the system currently running. Yes, pressurized pipe irrigation is efficient, and we are also working on it. Madhya Pradesh government has implemented pressurized pipe irrigation, and states should follow it because it is efficient. Yes, gravity based to top it up. One or two more questions I just saw in the text box. One was like about soil moisture. We analyze soil moisture, soil wetness index we calculate through satellite data, and based over the period of time we have our calculation. Based on it, we analyze like depending on the color of the soil and NDVI data and the NRSC data, we analyze what would be the percentage of moisture in the soil, and we use it to calculate along with the groundwater and the rainfall weather data to analyze what would be the water required in the region, also including crop data. Yeah, and I have also mentioned my mail ID and the company Vassar Labs LinkedIn ID so that you can follow it, and any questions would be happy to answer, get back to you. And if anyone requests any kind of demo in any products, we have a dedicated product for each of the life cycle of water, as I told you. So there were certain questions related to flood. We have aqua flood dedicated for flood warning, urban flood, as well as riverine flood. So we can send you have a demo for it as well. And other questions, just let me just go through it once. There was a question related to percentage of accuracy percentage. So accuracy percentage in terms of flood forewarning. So I would like to give you another use case where recently there was a can you ma'am please stop your screen sharing? There was this Monta cyclone that I told you in Andhra Pradesh. So we have done forecasting for them, and the beautiful part of it was that the system is integrated. It is integrated system. So what happens is, can you see the screen? Yeah. So what happens is we have a system called Aware, which is in the RTGS center of Andhra Pradesh, and it is dedicated for disaster management. We linked it with APMs, that is Agriculture Information Management System, which identified 6.23 lakhs vulnerable acres, and it has pushed 69 lakhs alerts to farmers. And this was again backed up with AP WARIMS, that is Water Resource Information System, which analyzed 31,000, monitor 31,000 plus MI tanks and 113 reservoirs and gave 3 hourly alerts that helped the government to take proper and timely actions, mitigate this disaster. And which also included saving livelihood as well as lives, and then calculating what was the damage, assessing the damage, and giving proper income, benefits to the farmers after the disaster. So hope I made things clear. And other questions, I'll revert back in the mail. I have given my mail ID. Just feel free to mail anytime, and you can ping me on LinkedIn as well. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for having me here, and Madhuri ma'am also for contributing. Thank you so much, everyone. Yes, sir. Over to you.
Chandan, Kumar. Thank you, Dr. Madhuri. I hope you have answered some of the questions, and if participants have more queries, please reply them through email. It was a very comprehensive presentation, very nice presentation. And I was just asking one question, whether you are taking this project in Telangana as a turnkey project, means installing all sensors and doing everything, or you are having
basically,
some collaboration with other companies?
Yeah. So basically, we are a technology company. We are working on data and web layer, hardware installation and structure, civil work we don't do. And we have partners. We have partners for them, depending on the use case. Even governments have partners for this. So we collaborate. We are collaborating for depending on the use case, depending on the region, depending on the existing system. We even use existing SCADA data and other things that government is having. They have their own system. We have integrations with them. We can integrate our system with them. We don't do any work on infrastructure or hardware level.
President, would you like to say a few words?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
No, I must say I was really impressed with both of this presentation, and I would like, on this regard, I would like to thank both of you. I would like to thank Vassar Lab for this impressive work you have been doing, and for how can I say, giving the opportunity to irrigators and farmers community to use this kind of tools, which are excellent decision support systems. I'll be looking forward. I can say that, again, I would like to thank you. I'm very grateful and very proud as ICID president that we have had the possibility to share your insights and your knowledge, incredible level of knowledge and management with the community of the people who this morning and this afternoon gathered for this webinar. So I'm really looking forward to possibly meet you personally. Next time I will be in India, and hopefully, if I may, I would like to ask your collaboration and involvement in our direct activities. You know that we have many international workshops and seminars and conferences. So I would be very, very happy to be looking forward to your involvement and collaboration with you. I'm very happy about this opportunity. So thank you very much again.
Thank you so much. Sir, you are always welcome. I personally invite you to. I'd love to host you here in our office at Reservoir Mindspace. Come here. We'll have biryani together, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, President. And let me tell you that Vassar Lab is our direct member, and they are direct member for the past many years, and we have good interaction with them. And as President says, we will have more interaction with Vassar Lab in future also. So, shall we close now, President?
Yes, I think we can. If there's no other questions, we can close this very positive and fruitful morning, afternoon webinar. And yes, let's keep in touch and let's work together for ensuring better and higher possibilities for the farmers community. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
so much, sir.